Hi, I'm Jeff. This is Tropical Plants at 53 degrees north. So a few weeks ago I made a video asking people to give their suggestions as to what tropical plant I should buy next for June, in fact, which tells me it wasn't that long ago. I know I've made a few videos since then. So I did go through everybody's suggestions. Some of them I wasn't really interested in, but very many of them I was. And I made a list and I checked them all, and perhaps unsurprisingly, not very many of them, in fact practically none of them, were available in the UK, which is, as I say, perhaps unsurprising given that well, certainly the current lockdown situation anyway, but I suspect that even when it's not locked down they won't be available. However, I did make some choices. So today I've got 5 brand new plants for the greenhouse. And something else that did surprise me was that I think there was only one orchid mentioned. I think Ed from Ed's Orchids mentioned a ghost orchid. I didn't get the ghost orchid, Ed, unfortunately, but I did get 5 brand new plants. So let's take a look at them. And we're in. Okay, so I'll kind of work my way up in size. So I'm going to start off with the first one, which is called, move it into view there. It's a begonia, as you might have guessed now, and it's called Curly Fireflush. Begonia Curly Fireflush. And there's the label for it. Now this cost me a whopping £4, and the reason I picked the begonia is that you might have seen my begonia Gryphon, which has far exceeded my expectations. I mean, just look at the colours on that new leaf there. Look at the reds underneath. I mean, this is clearly a plug plant. It's only a very small plant, but for someone who's after some colour and some interest, and the kind of various patterns in the leaves there, I think that's lovely. I think that's as nice as any blooms. So I am really looking forward to growing this one. So this is Begonia Curly Fireflush, and it grows to, let me see, about 40 centimetres high, which is quite high really. I think the Gryphon's probably about half a metre by now, but I think I can find space for it. And it grows in partial shade, so that's going to be potted up. That's one of my first ones to be potted up. So that's Begonia Curly Fireflush. Now while I'm getting the next one ready, somebody did mention another begonia. I can't forget, I think it was Nicholas, who mentioned it, and he recommended one called Begonia Luxurians, I think it was, and I did like the look of it, but unfortunately it went to about 2.5 metres tall, which is just a little bit too big for my greenhouse. So this next one is also a begonia. They're not all begonias. This one is a Begonia Sea Urchin, and again, you don't get the full effect with it being a small plug plant. And this sea urchin was £4. I think the Curly Fireflush actually was £3.50. I think I said 4 before. £3.50. This one was £4, but great value considering, and you get that kind of swirly effect on it there. So this one is sea urchin, so I'm looking forward to this one growing. This one grows to about 25 centimetres high, so I'll just put that to one side. So the next one isn't a begonia. And this one, let me see, who was it who recommended this one? Wanting to say Lucy, who recommended this one, I think. Something to do with the cat, Lucy the cat, I think. A clivia, African yellow. Now, unfortunately, my clivia is a little miserable at the moment. I'm going to have to get that potted very, very quickly because it's drying out already. It's very hot today. This is 1.5 years old, this clivia. And not a great deal to look at, I know. However, I've managed to find some really interesting information on clivias. So they're from South Africa. They grow in low altitude woodlands, and they thrive on neglect. So if anybody wants a plant that thrives on neglect, that will certainly be up my street. No direct sun, growing partial and dense shade, minimum 10 degrees. Here's something that's really interesting. Also known as forest lily, but this is the one that I was interested in, Thung Lily. Thung Lily, I kid you not. This is known as the Thung Lily. Not quite sure why. Trying to come up with a reason. But Thung Lily, the mind boggles. Oh, there's another synonym for it. A kaffir lily. Now, if you call it a kaffir lily, apparently in cultivation they're known as kaffir lilies, but apparently that's considered offensive in South Africa. Now, according to my analytics, I don't have any South African subscribers, so I hope I'm not offending anybody, and if I am, I apologise without reserve. So yeah, that is the thong lily. I prefer thong lily. Nobody can be offended by thongs, can they? Unless it's a bloke that wears one. Okay, so that's 4 out of 5. The last one, much bigger. This one is, and this is kind of thanks to Margaret from Emmy's Orchids. I don't think she mentioned this one. I think it's just that I saw hers a while back. So this is a desert rose, an Adenium obesum, and it's a pink one. Well, it looks like it's going to be a red one at the moment, but it should go pink. Not too thrilled with the way it was packaged, because all this media was all over the place. They didn't do anything to kind of prevent all the soil from coming out, and they've squished it into the package so it's all kind of bent over. I'm hoping that corrects itself over time. Lovely leaves on it, lovely heart-shaped leaves, and the best thing is it's in bud, which will be lovely. So I think that will make a great addition to the greenhouse. And some interesting information about the desert rose, also called impala lily. There's quite a few synonyms for this one. Well, I want to put that one down. It's from South Africa again, full sun, which is great. Now, here's an interesting bit of information. Throughout Africa, the sap of the Adenium obesum is used to put on the tips of arrows as a poison. And what they do then is they shoot game with it, or they might put it on hooks for fish. I'm not sure what they do with the fish then, if they go and kill it and put poison in it. But yeah, very definitely it's used on the tips of arrows. So if you do any pruning of your Adenium obesum, make sure you wash your hands. Definitely worth knowing. So yeah, they're my 5 new plants. And oh, I forgot, got one more. And it's another begonia. But what a begonia. This one is Begonia maculata whitey. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Very interesting, that one. And don't worry about this leaf. What they've done is they've bent that leaf up like that to fit it in. And looking at the photos of these, they do have these kind of goldy coloured or pale brown coloured leaves occasionally. So it looks like it's been splashed with paint. But this one, Begonia maculata whitey, this was £9.50. This one does grow to 180 centimetres, so it's pretty tall. So this is going to, it's just short of 2 metres tall. I'm about 2 metres tall, but I think I've got one little space that I can put it in. I'm sure it won't grow overnight to 2 metres tall, so it really does make a good statement, that, and a good kind of backdrop for all the blooms that I have. Another little bit of interesting information about this. So this is Polka Dot Begonia, which I much prefer as a name for it. It also has the synonym of trout begonia. Not quite sure. I think it looks like a trout. I don't know. I'll prefer to call it Polka Dot Begonia as opposed to trout begonia. So they're the plants that I bought. Didn't cost me a great deal of money, those. In fact, I could probably say I've got 5 plants for the cost of 1 or 2 orchids. If I'd got a Dracula orchid, certainly that would have been just the one plant. So we'll stick them all together just to give kind of a parting shot of all my new plants. And I guess now I have the job of potting them all up. So I hope you think I've made some good choices there for now. And that's it for now, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.